everybody, my name is Bao and today I'm going to tell you about the labors of Hercules. Oh wait, yeah, forget. Introduction. The legendary feats of Hercules were among the most beloved myths of the ancient Greeks and Romans. Hercules was immortalized in the art and literature of the period. In the Greek and Roman pantheon, his adventures were depicted in sculptures and retold in poetry, and his likeness appeared on coins. What made his story so complicated? Perhaps part of the hero's hour lay in the intensity of the trials he had to overcome. The greatest of Hercules' accomplishments was matched only by the depth of his suffering. The goddess Hera, wife of Zeus, king of the gods, orchestrated much of Hercules' suffering because he was the son of Zeus and a mortal woman named Alcmene. When Hera discovered Zeus' infidelity, she swore revenge on both Alcmene and her child. Hera sent witches to torment Alcmene in childbirth. She also sent snakes to murder the infant Hercules in his crib, but Hercules, precocious and immensely strong, even as a baby, strangled the snakes and survived. Hera didn't relent, however. She watched Hercules jealously throughout her life, continually devising ways to cause him pain and suffering. When Hercules grew to manhood and married, Hera hit upon of her cruelest stratagem. She sent Hercules into a fit of insanity, which caused him to murder his wife and children with his own hands. Whoa. When Hercules regained his senses, he saw the spectacle of his family lying dead on the floor around it. Restaking, he pleaded the god Apollo to grant him absolution. Because of Hercules' crime had been so grievous, Apollo sentenced him to perform 10 labors for the tyrant Eurystheus, king of the Mycenae, to cleanse his spirit. Hercules would need to submit to Eurystheus' commands and perform extraordinary feats of strength, perseverance, and intelligence. The stakes were high. If Hercules failed, he would have to live with the stain of his crime. If Hercules succeeded, however, he would gain forgiveness in his own eyes and those of the gods, and he could move forward with his life. Hercules' strength and resourcefulness. Several of his adversaries Hercules overcame his labors were terrible monsters that required courage and skill to defeat. Some, like the Hydra, were mythical creatures with supernatural powers and the gift of immortality. To defeat these, Hercules had to utilize resourcefulness and creativity as well as strength. Others, like the Nemean lion, the beast Hercules had to overcome in his first labor, were creatures of great viciousness and cunning. The Nemean lion combined vicious tenacity with near-human intelligence. It frequently took a young woman as a hostage and then used her as bait to draw warriors to the damsel's rescue. As the man approached, the lion would leap out and devour them. Hercules used a different tactic. He began by firing arrows from a far straight at the lion's heart, but they simply bounced off its hide. He tried throwing a spear, but the weapon did not penetrate. Finally, Hercules picked up his club and chased the lion into a cave. After he blocked off the entrance so the lion could not escape, he ran up to the lion and jumped on his back, dodging fierce claws and sharp teeth. Then he wrapped his powerful arms around the lion's neck and began choking it, holding on until the lion ceased moving. He attempted to skin the dead lion, but again, none of his tools would cut the hide. Finally, Hercules took one of the lion's own claws and used its razor-sharp edge to skin the animal. In this adventure, Hercules demonstrated many of the qualities that would serve him well as he went to defeat the Hydra, an enormous many-headed snake, a powerful boar, and vicious man-eating vultures. Hercules was forced to change his tactics each time he fought, using galley, as well as strength, often turning his adversaries' weapons against him, just as he had with the Nemean lion. Obvious to King Eurystheus was one of the subtlest features of Hercules' punishment. As Hercules performed labor after labor, demonstrating his superhuman strength, keen wit, and deep courage, Eurystheus grew progressively more afraid of him. He was so terrified that of Hercules that he forbade the warrior from being in his presence. Instead, the king issued all his commands through a messenger. Hera encouraged the king to make Hercules' trials as difficult as possible, even insisting that Eurystheus increased the number of waivers to 12 when they had learned Hercules had received payment from 2 of his waivers. Hercules' restraint and prudence. However, not all of Hercules' labors could be accomplished through violence and bloodshed. In fact, Hercules also had to learn not to take needless risks. The qualities of restraint and prudence were clearly exhibited in his third labor. For this labor, Eurystheus decreed that Hercules had to bring him the Nerean hind, the special pet deer of Artemis, the goddess of the moon, wild animals, and the hunt. Hercules knew that he could not simply kill the animal. He could not risk the anger of 2 goddesses. Carefully and impatiently, he began to track the hind in the hills outside Cerynea, waiting for the beast to tire. After a full year, he closed in on the hind as it was sleeping. Hercules cautiously threw a net over it and tied it up its swift feet. He hoisted it onto his shoulders and set off for Messina. When Artemis confronted Hercules, she was enraged at the capture of her pet. But Hercules was straightforward and honest with her. He recounted how he had been driven mad and had murdered his family, and how he had